Well, folks, welcome to another Friday fishing forecast. And as you can see, I'm out fishing in the bay. Decided to go catch some bait. We're testing some things at the office. Problem is we're having a lot of water issues, and we do a lot of testing on our water, and we can't quite figure out what it is. It's something with bacteria. I'm pretty sure it's E. coli, but we're losing our pinfish. Within like 4 hours, we lost probably 20 dozen pinfish. We're losing some shrimp, but we're fighting it, and so it's been a little tough, but hopefully this water starts to clean up a little bit better. I'm out here fishing some spots that I have not fished in a long time. They're very small ledges, and you have to actually get right on top of them. Well, folks, I had to turn off the camera real quick to little gag because that boat was so loud, that tugboat. But what I'm doing is I'm fishing on some very small ledges inside the bay, and I have to be kind of right on top of it because there's some hard bottom right at the edge of the ledge, and you can see on the machine how it gets real hard. The bottom gets real hard, so these are very hard spots to get set up on. That's why I'm fishing them, because I know a lot of these other spots are getting hit pretty hard. There's quite a few boats out here. It's the end of gag season this weekend. Saturday and Sunday is all you have left, unfortunately. I know that the bite later this week has been really good inside the bay on the major feeding time. As you saw in the last video, the major feeding time is a big deal. I am catching the last half of it right now, and so I'm trying to get into some fish. Caught 2 gags so far. Gonna see if we can't get a bigger one. Okay, basically I've had to come out and try to establish a pattern, and it is so hard when you're trying to do it by yourself. I have found that they like the pinfish hooked in the bottom towards the tail, and I'm using a quarter ounce huggy to slowly get them down there, because that tide's, oh, go figure, red grouper, because that tide's not moving very fast. So I just spit up one of my, because that's not the same pinfish I was using, little red grouper. But I'm basically using quarter ounce huggy, hooking it in the back of the tail, just like this, taking it, hooking it right in the back of the tail like that, and then sending them down. Now what's happening is this tide is starting to go out, and it's going to move a lot faster than the incoming tide did, because the incoming tide was a slow incoming tide. So this tide just started moving, and that's when they started eating. I don't want it to move too fast, but at the same time, I want the tide moving a little bit. I usually like a really slow tide when it comes to fishing for the grouper. But I can already tell the boat's making a swing like this. So that's telling me that I'm going to have to probably reposition, because I'm sitting up in 29 feet where I caught that fish. I was in 32 feet. So if I don't get bit here, then I'm going to move, or I'm going to adjust this out just a little bit. There's the fish right. Oh, come on, man. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the power pole trolling motor, power pole move, and just bump it up just a little bit. Okay, folks, this is what I'm talking about. This is actually a pretty pronounced ledge. If you hit it just right, you've got to look at it from being up on top of the ledge and out in like 20 feet of water, looking down, because if you're in the ledge trying to look up, you'll never see it. You have to be looking down into the shipping channel to see these ledges. You're never going to see them when you're in the channel trying to look up. You'll never see them. So basically what I do is I like to get up into 22, 25 feet of water and look down into the shipping channel, and that will show me the ledge itself. So it's really important that you get up off the channel, off the ledge, and kind of look down into the shipping channel. Now, as you can see, the more shadow line that you have, the more pronounced that ledge is. So the more shadow line that you're seeing, the higher that relief is on that ledge. So it gives those fish an opportunity to get up underneath that ledge. So as soon as I accidentally did an update on my power pole move, so I'm waiting for that to get done. As soon as that gets done, I'm going to fish this section right here that we're marking. I've already marked this before, way long time ago. Matter of fact, these numbers are 51, 52, 53, 79. So I've marked these a long time ago, and I haven't fished in this area in a very long time. So as soon as this trolling motor is done updating, I'm going to get after it and see what we can do. That's the nice thing about the power pole move, is that if there's updates, you can update it right through the app through your phone. So literally it's updating now, and as soon as it's done, boom, it'll be ready to go. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the tides and schooners for this weekend, what we have in store. Okay, for the tides, we have a high tide at 10:20 a.m. at a 2.7 foot. Then we have a low tide at 0.2 foot at 6:10 p.m. On Sunday, we have a low tide at 4:56 a.m. at a 1.6 foot. And we have a high tide at 11:27 a.m. at a 2.8 foot. And we have a low tide at 6:52 p.m. at a 0.2 foot. For the schooners, we have a major feeding time from 9:20 to 11:20 a.m. Then we have a minor feeding time from 5:01 p.m. to 6:01 p.m. Then on Sunday, we have a major feeding time from 10:15 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. Then we have a minor feeding time from 5:43 p.m. to 6:43 p.m. So those are the tides and schooners for this weekend. And of course, on our last video, if you did not watch it, 95% of our fish were caught on that major feeding time. I didn't even start filming until that major feeding time started, or 5 minutes before, and then we caught all of our big snapper on that. We caught our gags on that. The next day we went out, we caught all of our hogfish. Like Chad caught 5 in a row, bam, and then the tide died on that major schooner. So we stopped catching fish. But if you don't pay attention, I always talk about this, if you don't pay attention to the schooners, I highly recommend it. Are they 100%? No. But it's another arsenal for you to look at when you're out gauging where you're going to fish, how you're going to fish, and what you're going to fish for. What I'm doing is I'm actually casting it out a little bit to bring it back towards the boat. By the time it gets to the bottom, it's about right there. So that's telling me that I'm probably going to have to change the weight, because I'm having to pitch it out so far just to get it to the bottom. I can tell you right now, we're on the edge of the ledge. We're sitting on 30 feet of water. This is that spot that I showed you when we were going by it, shooting down into the shipping channel. You could see the ledge. And just like that, a little better gag. Getting there. Again, when I like to fish, when I fish the bay, I don't like a hard tide. I like a very slow tide. And the reason why is because those fish will stay on the bottom. And in this video, it shows you how the fish are kind of hugging the bottom and not moving very much. They're just trying to stay in place because that tide is moving so hard. So you practically have to hit them in the nose just to get them to eat on a moving tide like that. So I like these slower tides to be able to fish for the grouper and snapper inside the bay. Just for giggles, I'm going to throw down a whitebait, but I'm going to cut off its tail, because this will allow, I'll just kind of trim it up like that. This will allow him to go down easier, because when you hook a whitebait like that, especially on a light leader, they don't like to go down very good. So I'll cut the tail. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but we're going to give it a shot. I don't know if they're keyed in on whitebait. I was fortunate enough to catch some bigger whitebait on the flats, kind of to my surprise. But we're going to try it out and see what happens. Let it go down. Now you got to have patience when you're fishing like this, simply because it takes a little bit. It's much faster in the bay than it is offshore, I can tell you that right now. But A lot of times you'll catch the much bigger fish fishing like this because it's more natural. See, folks, put that white bait down there and didn't get hit at all. Put the threadfin or pinfish down there and bam, immediately. Red grouper, there's plenty of those in here. That's what I mean, is that if you try different things, the hardest part is being by yourself. So you got to go through a progression. Once you figure out how they want it and what they want to eat, like a pinfish hooked in the tail, they didn't want a whitebait with the tail cut off. I literally went through the same spot, didn't get touched. Sent that pinfish down there and wham, they hammered it. So having as many different baits as possible is key when you're out fishing and establishing the pattern, figuring out how those fish are going to eat. I don't think I mentioned the weather. The weather this weekend looks absolutely beautiful. Now, when you're looking at the offshore, just kind of don't pay attention to the actual wave height. Pay attention to how many seconds they're apart. I think they're showing like 5 to 7 seconds apart, 5 to 6 seconds apart for 1.3 to 1.5. So they're going to be very slow rollers. We've been out before when it was over 3 feet, but they were 8 seconds apart. And when they're 8 seconds apart, it's just like slow rollers. You get where your boat is comfortable, where it's riding. But once you get out there, it's not bad at all. It's just a very slow up and down, up and down. So kind of take that into consideration when you're fishing, if you're going offshore this weekend. Like I said, the rain chances are pretty much down for this weekend, so it looks like it's a nice little breeze, so it's not horribly hot right now. So that's nice, but it's going to be a beautiful weekend. A lot of fish to be caught. I heard the redfish bite is still really good. The grouper bite inside the bay for the last couple of days has been really, really good with a slower tide on that major feeding time. So just kind of take that into consideration. Again, I just want to say thank you to everybody for all of the support. We can't thank you enough. We're again working on some things, and again, I can't say thank you enough for watching. We really appreciate it. Fish more, catch more, and we'll see you on the flip side.